get started. So I just want to welcome everyone to our Friday Focus Forum. Like I said, this one's a little bit more of a training session. Um, we are pleased to have Joseph Mugen with us.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Joe changes his last name a couple of times on me.
Yes.
He's actually my digital strategist.
My last name is Her, but as far as branding goes, I go by Joseph Mugen because there's at least maybe 10 or 15 Joseph Hers out there in the world. So, right now I'm only, as far as SEO and Google goes, I'm only fighting I'm going against a video game character. That's about it. But as far as Joseph, the brand Joseph Mugen goes. So that's kind of why I did that.
Nice. And his company is Mugen Digital.
Yes.
And so he actually works with me doing digital strategies, and he actually helps me with my own digital environment, my own social media platform. So this might be Tanya's idea. We talk about using our Friday Focus Forum, not just to vibe, which we've been doing a lot in the past, but to do some trainings here and there that would be of value in bringing in subject matter experts. And so I consider Joe an expert. He has a really good design eye, especially. But we've been working a lot together for the past almost a year now, right, Joe?
Yeah, almost a year. I think we're going on about 8 months. So I think in a couple months it'd be about a year. Like 3-4 months.
And so my social media presence has increased dramatically. The reach has been a lot better. And that's what we're trying to do with businesses. So we brought him on so that he can vibe with us a little bit. We're probably going to take about 10 or 15 minutes or 20, depending on how amazing he is, talking to us about why social media matters in our business. And then guys, we'll let him take over. Then he'll sort of direct us as we go. But if we have questions, let's pop the questions in the chat, if you don't mind. That way we can keep track of them. Cool? Joseph, the floor is yours.
All right. So basically, as far as social media goes, why is social media important as far as your business, as far as your brand? Well, for one, the most important part is because it's free. Everybody can, get on Facebook, get on LinkedIn, or whichever social media platform that you prefer, or where your potential clients can be. So that's kind of why I do mainly social media right now, because every platform has different algorithms. What they try to do is that they try to keep you on that platform. So what we're trying to do is that when we work with social media, we're trying to bring value to potential clients. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are either in accounting, you're an EA, or something similar in that. And as far as business goes. So one thing that Mark has taught me was that, having the EA, the enrolled agent, or if you're a CPA, having that on your social media is quite important. And that's just basic personal branding for anybody who has like a certain niche, or if you're doing that sort of thing, or if you're a lawyer, you can do it as well too. So as you can see, Mark brands himself as an EA mainly for now. Because when we were building his social media, that was important because at the time we wanted people to know that, okay, well, this guy, Mark Adams, there's like maybe a few Mark Adams out there in the world, but now we know that there's a Mark Adams and he's an enrolled agent. And if you go onto Mark's Facebook, when I started working with him, we slowly started to rebrand his social media. Before it was mainly EA, but as Mark is moving into business advisory, we've gone and branded it more of that instead. And it's very similar to anyone that's in this training or in this meeting. I would suggest, if you haven't, go ahead and do that if you'd like. And if you want me to, I can kind of do like a social media profile makeover, or give suggestions, or for anybody who's willing to volunteer themselves. And then we can, I'm not gonna tear it apart or anything, but just little suggestions here and there if anybody wants to.
And before you do, can I just jump in for a moment?
Yeah, that's fine.
because it's really important, like what we're talking about with the makeover, and I want to make clear, right? So if we're trying to grow, you're trying to grow your presence on social media. The first thing you want people to do is to know who you are, even on your personal side, right? So if I look at Courtney Dover and I go to your Facebook page, if you're really trying to use it to grow your business, and it might show pictures of the family, this and that, but I have no idea what you do, you've kind of already lost. If you go to my social media page, not that it's the greatest in the world, but it's not bad because I've had this makeover and I've worked with people. You'll at least know from the start, oh, he's a business owner. Oh, he's an enrolled agent. Oh, he has a company that helps other businesses. Let me learn a little bit more about him. And so even though social media, the genesis of it was just so you can get with your friends and laugh and joke, we're now turning toward that business side. What this whole profile makeover is all about, not even the makeover itself, but the profile approach is your friends know who you are, right? But it's the people who don't know you that say, when you reach out and you say, why should I friend this person? Or why should, why did this guy send me a request? Oh, if he's a fellow accountant, maybe he'll be more prone just to friend me because we're accountants. It kind of answers questions for people before they ask. And so a lot of times when we're looking at people to try to connect with, I have no idea who they are, what they do. Their profile doesn't tell me anything. If you're going to use social media to help grow your business, give them a glimpse of who you are or what you do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Very
Cool.
well said.
So someone, I'll show you my profile because we're not all Facebook friends, right? I don't think so. Is that how you want to do it, Joe? And then
Yeah, that's totally fine. I
someone
mean,
else can volunteer.
yeah, we can go with yours first and then kind of go on from there if you like.
It might make a little bit more sense what we're trying to get to.
Mhm.
And so hold on one second. I'm going to share my screen and tell me if you see my screen. Does everyone see the screen? Okay.
Yes.
First, I just wanted to give a second to shout out Nina. That's my dog. That's my boo. Since it's being recorded, I want her to be on TV forever. So, okay. All right. Now that Nina's done, I'll talk to you later, girl. Let's go to Facebook. And my profile should be here somewhere. Even though I know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing. And every time I'm here, these guys got to help me out. Okay. So this is my profile. So go ahead, Joe, take over. And I'm going to give you, I think I can give you access to control, right? So if you want to move around.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
All right. Okay, I don't know how. You want to just request it and I say yes?
I'm not even sure how to do that. But
Okay. Well, then I'll be the driver then.
okay, yeah, I mean, which is pretty simple. Yeah, so as you can see on the main banner here, it brands Mark. It says that he's next level business advisor, and it gives the quote of his business or the mission of his business is so those are very simple, very easy things that you can change within your profile just to make it easier for people to come and say, okay, Mark Adams, okay, he is an advisor, and then he owns, if you look at his intro, you see the businesses that he owns. And those are very important because now, we can, as someone who doesn't know Mark and maybe come onto his page because maybe, he might have, put up a, like post that people like. Now they know who he is. And then if they dive more into it, they can see that, things that he's posted. He's been, one thing with Facebook is that you want to be consistent. Facebook love consistency. Actually, most social media platforms love consistency because they want people to be in their platforms, interacting in the platforms, and they want them to stay on their platforms because as we all know, the longer that you stay on the platform, the more money that they generate as well too. So it's kind of a, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, so what we're doing is that we're branding him, and not just that, but we're also creating content that can bring value to potential clients that might be looking for answers. And then as Mark as his brand grows, more and more people are going to recognize him as either a thought leader or more of an expert, even though, like we don't all know everything, but he knows more than, the normal person or the normal business owner, if that makes sense at all. And then
So a couple of things. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're
I
good.
was just going to jump in. So when you look at the page, like we said, this is like the tagline. We help bring clarity to the business. This is the company name. And this is my personal page. So some people say, well, don't you have a business page? It's true. We want a business page. But most times when we are on social media, we don't want to connect with businesses, right? We want to connect with people. So
Mhm.
that's why you put it on your personal page as well, although you do have company pages. The other thing that someone else taught me, which is very, very important for you in your business, right? If you're doing this whole tagline idea, is this line right here. Business owners hire us to clarify their business. So this line is very specific, and it might get better over time. It kind of says when who is Mark. If they just click on my name, this line pops up. And in social media, like you, if you have one of these lines, you might see it. A lot of times, people will say, "Mother enthusiast loves tea." That pops up. So if you're really trying to, and I'm going to use Alicia if that's okay, right? You are a virtual assistant, right? So if someone clicked on your name, what's the tagline that pops up, right? Your friends know who you are, but if it's perhaps a colleague, does it say, virtual assistant with an eye on excellence or something like that that grabs their attention and say, oh, let me at least friend them. Maybe they have something there. So this is the thought behind why this looks this way. Years ago, it was just a big old picture of me with that dumb picture right there. That's in California, and that was it. Whatever background Facebook gives you, but it's about taking advantage of what is available to you by means of the social media. And like Joseph said, it's free, right? So take advantage of it. So go ahead. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm just jumping in
Oh
every
no,
once in a while.
no, that's a great point as well too. And then after rebranding or the profile makeover, there are little specific things that you can do, like for example, having your phone number, your business phone number on there, or having other ways to contact you in case you don't want to be taking messages from Facebook or any other place. Maybe you want to your business is more about connecting with people via email or even through phone. These are different ways that they can connect with you. And that's basically what social media is really all about. At the end of the day, it's a network of people. And if you're not engaging and if you're not letting people know who you are, you're just another person that's just on social media pretty much. And it's fine and dandy that you can go and like engage with just like friends and family. That's mainly what we use it for. But if you're really focused on building your business and building your brand, taking advantage of social media is definitely something that can really help you in the long run. And it's a really good short-term strategy as well too. So either or, this it's a win-win situation.
Awesome. So do we have a bold one who wants to look at their profile and get some thoughts? And we have crickets.
I mean, if not, I mean, we can look at mine because I
I
mean,
was about to I was about to volunteer myself.
okay, yeah, that's
Yes, please
fine.
volunteer me.
Okay.
I'm actually in the midst of attempting to rebrand. I'm working on that now.
Let's see if we can find you.
So you may find that is my personal page.
This is you?
Yes.
Aww.
Uh,
Okay.
that's probably my proudest photo of me. I love that picture of me. My business page is the administrative concierge,
Okay.
and so that is the page.
Jonathan, is
I
that
gotta
you
tell
working
you.
out? Like, leave it to these atoms.
Sorry about that. Multitasking.
Okay. Yeah. Go back on mute. Forgive me. Forgive me. He's actually a very good business owner, but my goodness, that boy. Anyway, Alicia, please continue.
So one of the things that I did, I've done a number of things. A number of things have happened. So I bought the domain to my name. So that's one of the first changes that I'm going to make is I've had a number of conversations and did a lot of thought, and people look for me because it's Alicia Overton, not the name of my business. And so I finally made that distinction that I can let, while I love my business name, people are connecting to me. So that's one of the first things that I'm going to do is change my domain name to my name. So with that said, I'm not a Facebook user personally. I use it to, I quite honestly use it to reconnect with my family, which that has happened. So I really don't need it. So I'm almost inclined to say that my personal account can become my business account, if that makes sense. So as much as, yeah, that was my, 6 months. So I could completely merge the two or get rid of one and move myself over to the other, rebuild it. But that is what I'm going to do going forward. It will be aliciaoverton.com.
Okay.
And I will be the owner of the administrative concierge, but you're going to know about me first. So that's one of the first things that I've done for this year.
Nice.
The second thing that's going to happen is when I rebrand I'm scheduling a brand shoot now. I'm working with a photographer to try and get that done, but my logo will change. My colors will change. So I think one of the things that I'm having a challenge with was identifying who my audience is, because I know who I don't want my audience to be, but I'm trying to tap into who my true target audience is and how I can attract them. So one of the things that I realized is that everyone that has been tapping me for either services or information or advice or expertise, they are people that are entrepreneurs and business owners that are creating their Amazon in the garage. They're creating their own Amazon. And so that's the person I actually like working with. I like a blank canvas where a person they know what they want to do in regards to their business, but they may not know the structure. And so that's where I have lots of experience in creating structure, or at least giving them recommendations about structure, things that they need to consider as they're pivoting their business and leveling it up and expanding it either outward or upward. So that's who I want to work with. That's what I finally identified that I want to work with. I do well with people that are in the place of decision making and they're ready to go. So enough of me talking.
No. Good. I mean, it's good to get an insight into exactly what you're trying to achieve. So when we look at your personal profile, how does this tell me that that's who you work with? Right? That's really what the question is.
Right.
The only thing I know is here that you own this. So the first thing I would do is, just like you have on your business page a professional headshot, it's okay to put something professional. Remember, when we started these Facebook pages, I know it was to connect with family and friends.
Right.
It's no longer the case. Right. And my friends and family, they're still on my Facebook page, but they kind of know that so is everybody else, because I'm using it for that purpose. So I look at your picture and it's a great picture, and you might want to get rid of it, but that might not be the first thing that people see when they click on your profile. You can still pop it down here. There's a spot on the left-hand side. I think mine has like my wedding picture there, but this should immediately tell me that you are a business owner, right?
Right.
And then we have your name here, which is awesome. Below your name, though, that one line you just gave would be where you'd want to put it. Something about how you help up and coming, whatever that is, whatever you're, in a concise statement, because it's not that long. It's like Twitter. You only have so many characters, but get that one statement there. So when we click on this, we say, oh, Alicia does so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. That's the first thing that jumps out at me. Joe, what do you see that we would also do?
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as Alicia goes, I mean, I think that she's already trending in the right direction as far as, basically what she's doing is branding herself, branding her own, branding her own personal brand pretty much. And, I agree with you, as far as, that one line right there, it makes a big difference. I mean, if she didn't just go over what she wanted to do, we would not know anything about Alicia. All we know is that she owns one business and that's it. But, until we like dive in a little bit further, if we were to go onto her business page, then we'll kind of have an understanding of what she does. But if it was already on her personal page, it's like your resume nowadays, or your portfolio, pretty much. Like you go on there, you're like, oh, she helps aspiring business owners specifically in the Amazon space. Boom, done. There goes your brand. Now, if they're at that where they're at that level where they're like, oh, this is where, I'm needing that help, they're more likely to reach out to you rather than just come on and just know that you're a business owner. Now you have to get more into specifics. And then the more specific that you are in social media, the better. And people might take it as a disadvantage, but you have to think about that. We're already giving out a lot of our information already online. When you're branding yourself, when you're even on Facebook or other social media platforms, you're already giving out the information anyways. Why don't you give out precise information so that way, the internet can pretty much find you. That's basically what it is.
So my question then, which I appreciate I appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much. So I think the other question that I had was, do I kill the business page and redesign my personal page? Or do I kill my personal page and redesign the business page since it's already? So it's because to me, having 2 pages is it's a lot. And I really, quite honestly, I do not use my personal page.
Okay.
So I literally could kill, that's the main page. That's how I got started. So that's the dilemma I have. I think that's just the simplest way to put it.
Well, the funny thing is that I wouldn't kill neither one. I'd keep both of them.
Really?
Yes, because
okay.
The business page is there. Like Facebook doesn't really favor business pages as much as they do personal pages and other content on Facebook. They used to, but your business page is just there maybe for your hours or maybe more detailed information. But most people are going onto personal pages. They're more likely to come and see the personal page. And the more active that you're on your personal page, it doesn't have to be crazy stuff like always posting business stuff all the time. You can always post, people like seeing faces on Facebook. That's why we're on Facebook, so every once in a while you can always post up personal things that mean something dearly to you. And then, you have your community and your family and friends, they're still able to like that as well too. And they're not, those individuals are not the ones that you're targeting generally, as far as your business, but it's nice to show that, hey, behind this screen here, I'm also a human being and I like to share moments within my life, and you're sharing it with, your audience and also with your family. So I think it is a win-win situation.
So then if I'm hearing you correctly, the business page can almost just be like a simple landing page where you see the business information and the specifics of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then my personal page, I'll put my business tagline underneath my name and clean it up so that it looks more business and I can incorporate both business and personal on it.
Yeah. And with Facebook, okay, people don't mind it at all. Like unlike LinkedIn where everybody's very business centric. We're like, okay, we just want business stuff on here, or post that. But with Facebook, because it initially started off as a social network of, connecting with your family, friends, and even like for me, I've been connecting with like high school, like friends that I haven't talked to in over 20 years. I mean, I might look young, but I'm pretty old, but like doing little things like that, those are why we are on this platform. But then why not utilize it? Take it to your advantage and not just you can redo it and have it sit there, but then there's also the maintenance of it. And the maintenance of it is probably the most difficult task, but the rebranding is the start. I think that's, and then once you get that started, then maybe you might see different changes. People might be reaching out to you just because now they know what you do and who you are. And that's the most important part.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like real estate, right? The more real estate you have, the better.
Yeah, it is.
I appreciate
is that right, Bruce?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I knew that was directed to me.
Right. But it's true, right? The more you have, the better. I mean, it is more maintenance. So on my side, I do I don't do much of nothing, but we do post on personal and every once in a while on the business, just so it doesn't look like an empty page, right? Whatever. But you don't have to have like a whole bunch of things, just enough that when someone goes to your page, they see activity. It's like not a dead site, and you're doing cool like that. You have a few things here, just enough that someone can scroll down and say, okay, it's not a dead site. There's things here. And you can post whatever you put on your personal. So if it's business related, just copy it and paste it on your business, just so that it pops up from time to time.
See, it is not as complicated as I have made it in my mind. I think that's so. With that said, then do you apply the same strategy with Instagram?
Instagram's a little bit different. I'm not quite as immersed in Instagram as far as I am in Facebook and like other platforms, just due to the fact of you're trying to find where your demographic is. Instagram, I think people that the main user on Instagram, I think they're around their age of, 15 to like maybe 35, more millennials compared to Facebook, who are millennials plus, older people as well too. So there is that limiting factor, I guess, like as far as your audience. And I'm not saying that, your audience might not, or your audience or community might not be on Instagram. I'm just saying that, as far as what we were targeting, that's how we chose a certain platform, because that's where our demographic is.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. That works.
I have a comment. The print, it's a question actually. Your print is very small. So can you make it larger?
Like that?
Yeah, I think that would help.
That's just to zoom on your computer screen, by the way.
I think it's just a zoom.
And
but not every.
You're looking through yours, but I think what's happening is it might be compressed. I have like a huge screen in my office, so it looks big to me, but I think you're looking at it, you're looking through my camera lens in a way, and that's why it looks weird to you. But if you're on Facebook, it'll look the right size. It's just what you normally look at Facebook with. Yeah, that's controlled by that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have ridiculous screens in my office. I think they're like 27 inches long, and they're like the widescreen ones. So everything looks sort of weird here.
Except you want to catch the person that's on the page.
Absolutely.
So you need something. I mean, Joseph.
Yes.
You need something that's going to stop them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you need. I guess you can say like eye grabbing as far as that goes. Information wise, I mean, I think at the end of the day, though, it's just all about the value that you're bringing to your potential client, your potential client. It's just because you can, if you're looking for a solution, there's tons of other business owners out there that might be providing the same solution as you, but if you can catch your eye, like you were saying, like within a minute of looking at your Facebook page, they might make their decision right then and there already. So instead of having to scroll and look through and and search, this just makes it a lot more easy and simplified. That's all.
Tanya had a question?
I do. So, Joseph, when I get ready to create my social media pages with the type of business that I have a children's etiquette business where I teach social graces, business skills, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Being that the demographic that I'm targeting, I heard you say the demographic for Facebook is basically all ages, but Instagram is basically 15 to 35.
Mm-hmm.
Would you suggest that I do both, since I am looking to reach out to, say, parents, grandparents, executive directors of nonprofits, things of that nature? I'm just trying to figure out, like, if I didn't want to be too immersed in social media and maybe only use one or two platforms, which two do you think would be the best? And I'm not social media savvy, so just trying to figure it all out.
I think for sure I would suggest Facebook for one, just because you have a lot of, those are the people that you're targeting are parents, and, when they see what you can do, then, that's when they make their decisions like, all right, well, this individual might be someone that I'm interested in, talking to, or at least learning more about what they do, so that I can provide, the solutions that I need for, for my kids and whatnot.
Mm.
As far as Instagram, you can, but with Instagram is that it's a lot more clips. You're only doing like very small, very simple posts. It can work. I've seen, it can work on any of the platforms, but it's just who you're targeting, and make sure that you're consistent of the people that you're targeting.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as it goes, like, I would probably stick with Facebook, just due to the fact that that your demographic is there. Instagram, even I don't use Instagram as much as most people for business, just because I like that my target audience is actually more on Facebook than LinkedIn. Instagram, because Instagram, what they're doing is that they're just, I don't know, it's very good, but at the same time, like the way that they've been working with the algorithm, it's a lot harder to get reach. There's more strategies that you can take with Facebook, LinkedIn, to be able to get the audience that you want. And with Instagram is that the younger that the people that are using it, I know there are different hacks, and so the Instagram algorithm is always changing. I think it changes a lot more than Facebook, just because it was growing a lot faster.
Okay, thank you so much for that, because I had thought the total opposite. So I'm so happy you told me. I was thinking with Instagram, being that etiquette is very visual, I was thinking, oh, I'll just post pictures and stuff like that on IG, and that'll be great. So thank you so much for explaining that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And to piggyback off of that, you can do the same thing on Facebook as well too. Facebook and Instagram are very similar and in their own way. The reason why I like Facebook more, because you can build a lot more meaningful relationships. I'm not saying that you can't on Instagram, but there are Instagram accounts that are just there for certain content. Like, for example, I used to follow Instagram page that all they did was just had motivational quotes, very simple stuff like that. But with you and what you're doing with, as far as your business, you really want to connect with those parents, because when they have to make decisions for their kids, like even for me, I'm a dad myself. So if I'm connecting with somebody, I'd rather be is somewhere where I can conversate with you. Not that you can't do it on Instagram, but I just feel that there's more of a trust that you can build on Facebook, because then they can go and look at your personal Facebook page, like, oh, this person, they're not just, like trying to, like, I don't know, screw me over or whatever, but it's just more in depth, but that's just my personal opinion though.
Okay, so you would suggest LinkedIn and Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to just jump in on that real quick too. Like, one thing that, because I don't know anything about Instagram, but Joseph, he does a lot of my social media for me. So I'm on Instagram. I think, I don't know how.
No, you are.
If you put it on Facebook, you can get it to Instagram almost automatically.
Yes, you can. But there's like the hashtag aspect that's on Instagram, and I think, yes, you can find people using hashtags, and then you go through their their followers list, and it's very similar on Facebook. But I just think that there's just more in-depth content that you can find on Facebook compared to Instagram, because what people usually use Instagram for is that they're using it as, I guess you can say, what do we call that, Mark? When like kind of like a landing page, but it's just like a one landing page, and you're just posting, and they emphasize stories. Like they want people to be looking at stories, but you can also do stories on Facebook because they're owned by the same company. So what they did was that they're basically just having the different demographics that are on whichever platform.
Yeah. So you can do all your work on Facebook and not throw Instagram away. You can just throw it backwards, almost like, okay,
you can.
And so it'll be alive, but you won't have to worry about it, because a lot of the challenge with the business owner is the maintenance of all this stuff, right? If you're posting on Facebook every day, how you servicing your clients, right? Now you're posting on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok, and after a while you're like, I'm not getting no work done. So that's the whole balancing act. The nice thing with the Instagram, you don't want to let it just die on the vine. So the nice thing with like the Instagram is like what I was saying with and Joe does it for me. I would have something on Facebook and I know it's going to Instagram. And the only reason I know is because people are like, oh, I saw your IG post. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So Joe did something. He's at it again. So, you got to be smart with which ones you focus your attention on. And then you can you can recycle content. Not recycle. The word is repurpose content, right? And so you always want to be thinking about content that you can repurpose. I have it here. It's up, it's running. And then I can have it go to different locations. So you don't just let it die. But for me, my focus is on Facebook and LinkedIn. Tanya, I think that's where your focus would be as well. I mean, certainly you're teaching children, but you are marketing to parents, because there can be very few children that are tugging on their mother's, shirt saying, Mom, I want that class. I want this. That doesn't work that way. I think it might be like piano lessons. Go the kid, right? The parent signed you up for piano lessons. The kid doesn't say, oh, I want piano lessons. So you want to market to the parent, not to the child. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. That helps a lot.
Cool. Any other questions for Joe?
Well, I have another one since nobody.
Wait. Oh, Courtney.
Somebody
Courtney,
has one? Oh, okay.
yeah, they're so respectful. They raise their hand like it's a meeting.
Well, I just didn't want to start talking and somebody else was talking, so I thought I raised my hand.
Awesome.
This is helpful. I am very, very early on in my whole business concept, so I don't have, I haven't focused on like my social media pages yet at all. I don't disagree because you're the expert, but I do have a question. Like, I feel like Instagram is more on the fly information and Facebook is more like if I'm sitting, like personally, and I'm an older millennial, so I'm in the middle of of both sides. I have Instagram on my phone. I only go to Facebook. I don't deal with Facebook much. If I do go to Facebook, it's when I'm in front of my computer. So I guess what advice would you feel like to give in general, just because I feel like people are going to look at Instagram more quickly if they're on their phone. So if you're trying to reach people, just like to let them know like, oh, my business is live, I'm here, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working on, I kind of feel like you might get a lot of attention that way too. So I don't know if you have any feedback on that, but I just feel like people in my elder millennial bubble are not like on the quick, they're going to look at Instagram before they go to Facebook. And I could be just speaking for my friends and people I know, but that's just kind of my opinion. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'm probably around the same age as you are. I'm an older millennial as well too, and I do agree with what you were saying about getting the bits and pieces of information as far as Instagram, and that is still quite very powerful. It's as far as that goes, I think it's more of your preference, because you're more used to using Instagram compared to Facebook. Like you said, you don't even have notifications on your phone, as far as Facebook. So, and sometimes, that might be the strategy for you to take as well too. What platform that you're most comfortable with. Like take me for example, like that's why I'm more on LinkedIn than I am on Instagram. Because although I enjoy the little bits and pieces of information, sometimes I'm more of an in-depth, like I like to really, figure out and see what I'm getting myself into. As much as I like Instagram, it's very visual, and I'm a very visual person as well too, but there's a lot of distractions on Instagram as well too. So sometimes you have to kind of weigh those out. Like, are you actually working, or are you just, like going on and following hashtags of things that you like? So there is that, I guess, that goal and that strategy when you're going and starting to, since you haven't really started it yet, I would just say start and then figure it out what you like, figure out, kind of learn how the algorithms work, kind of figure out what type of content you should be posting, what type of hashtags you should be using. There's a strategy around that as well too. It's not as strong as it is on Facebook compared to Instagram, because Instagram and Twitter were really made, off of following hashtags, So, I mean, yeah, like if you're comfortable with Instagram, definitely, take your shot at it, especially since you're starting,
Yeah.
especially when you're starting, that's the best time to experiment, but don't experiment too much, because if you're experimenting too much, then you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable with Instagram, then, start figuring out what type of content you need to post. How can I build my business and my brand using Instagram? And that's with every single platform. And then, like what Mark was alluding to earlier, it's all about the maintenance. It's all about engaging. It's all about creating valuable content so that your followers, community, that they're like, okay, well, this person is, I like what they're posting, or at least it's informative to me. And when they like or they engage, that's telling the algorithm like, hey, people like this type of content, and they're going to keep what they do is that the more that people like it, of course, they're going to put it on your feed, and then you'll always see it. And there's an algorithm that they do that as well too, how they put their feed, how your feed is presented to you from Facebook and Instagram. They have the different strategies. I don't know it like from the top of my head, but I just remember like people were talking about it. I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy how people can do that or how their algorithm works like that.
And I had a second question, and I think Alicia actually just asked my second question, but I was gonna ask, because you talked about managing your social media. Obviously, either you have someone that does it or maybe you do it, but then that could be a lot if you're on multiple platforms. So I was gonna ask about Hootsuite. I haven't used it yet. I have a friend that used it, but like, how do you guys feel about that? And I don't know, I'm not trying to talk for Alicia, but I feel like we're thinking the same thing.
I think you guys are kind of, I think it is very similar and questions as far as that goes. I honestly, if you can use what they call a scheduler, I would say go ahead, but I wouldn't say right off the bat though, because you have to kind of learn what your audience wants too. You can't, and you have to learn how that software works as well too. And how they get you is that they're like, okay, well, your first social media, account is free, but now if you want to post X amount, then you have to pay. I think that if you can set yourself like, what we do is that we have like a social media calendar, and then you go out from there, basically all the planning. And then once you kind of get used to, or if you see that, man, like I can't stay consistent, like I want to be posting up at this time, but I'm doing work at this, like these are, I'm in a meeting or whatever, then I would say, yeah, like look into, like those scheduling platforms, which aren't bad. I've only had experience with Buffer, but I've stopped using Buffer because they started to limit you. Why? Because Facebook as a company, they're like, okay, well, we don't mind it that you're automating your posts, but you can only post to your business page, or you can only post onto, like, or your personal page, so they limit you. So then that becomes, something that was a solution now becomes more problematic. So right now what we do is like, we just post, we do the post manually, which isn't, I wouldn't say like bad or the best use of our time, but at the same time, we like seeing what's going on as soon as we post. And sometimes when you're on an automatic scheduler, it's good because that the posts are going to be posted no matter what, but maybe you don't have the time to go back and engage with your audience or with your community. And that's one of the most important parts, is engagement, building connections, and because those connections, they can potentially be clients, or not just that, word of mouth marketing, which is even better. So.
And I was just jumping in real quick. The other thing with this is you'll see it on Facebook, if you're on Facebook a lot. I'm saying Facebook, but I'm sure it's Instagram, it's all the other ones. People who are trying to get business, they post. It's just a million posts, 18 posts a day. And you're not getting business out of it. So more important than the whole how often it's what you post that matters. So, and really the value is in coming up with the posting strategy, right? And so there's specific types of posts that you want to have, that you don't care about automation more than strategy, right? If you're posting every day, and I have a colleague, and every day they post some inspirational quote, but that's not getting them business. And I mean, yeah, and there is such a thing as top of mind awareness. So we want to have top of mind awareness, which is why you want to sprinkle in posts like of your baby pictures or what have you. But every once in a while, you're trying to test your audience and say, hey, I got this great new deal on, basement remodels. Jonathan does contracting, right? And see if it hits. Or hey, I found this great thing on HV. Now's the time to change your furnace, your filters, and But there's got to be a strategy. So don't end up wasting your time just making a million posts on social media saying, "Well, I'm posting." That's not what we're trying to do with social media. How do you get clients out of it? It's a specific strategy. First thing is that profile has to be appropriate. Second thing is you have to get the right friends. Third, you have to figure out how to get them engaged in your business. So it's three different things. So a lot of times we get our profile right, and that's it. I'm on Facebook a lot now, and I got all these accountants that are on because we friended, and they post every single day, and it's all junk. That's just a waste of time. You're not getting business from that. I post in the evenings, right? There was a catch by Tyreek Hill at the Kansas City game. That was awesome. I posted it, right? But that's not to get business. But if that's my business strategy, I'm going to be posting about this and that. It's a waste of your time. Don't even bother. So you have to make sure that you're targeting your post. You come up with a strategy for what you are posting. It's not just posting and getting it a thousand eyes. We did a post recently. Joe and I worked on a post to get some engagement, and I think we're up to like 250 comments on the post. I was giving something to well, it wasn't even to accountants, but all these accountants started asking me for it. Right, I'm still getting. By the way, Joe, I got about 5 people who emailed me today. We got to cut that off. So but it was a strategic post, right? Otherwise, it's a waste of time. So what is your business? What are you trying to get? And you have to start centering your posts around that. But before we yammer too much, I want to read this comment from Alicia. She said, so set aside a block of time to create content and then set a specific time to post manually. Perfect, right? So they call it editorial calendars. You're right on. You might spend, I don't know, Friday from 3 to 4, just figuring out the 5 posts you want to make for next week, right? And you want to have reasons behind why you're posting, not just posting sunny day in America or whatever, sunny day in, whatever, but a specific post that you think will get, and see if you can get that desired aim, and then you post it. Jonathan, you had your hand up. I'm sorry. We had you waiting. Go ahead.
Nah, you good. Yeah, so I don't know if this situation has been mentioned or not, Joseph, but this is kind of where I'm at in my business. Over the past year, COVID has made me kind of transform what I do. Sorry for the background noise. I'm in my second house right now. I tend to do 2-3 things at the same time, so forgive me. But it made me transform what I do. And so I do home remodeling, general contracting work. And so I had an Instagram account, thanks to this group, to this forum. I don't manage it. I don't maintain it, yet somehow I have a couple hundred followers, and actually got a couple of nice contracts out of it.
Here we go. Your Wi-Fi's dying.
And then another general contract. Say again?
You dropped for a minute. You're in now. Go.
Okay, let me pull over to the side so I'm in a good pocket. But yeah, so another general contractor was telling me of the need to get on Facebook and to link Facebook and Instagram. Now, again, I don't have an overarching strategy. I just roll, and I just get work. Like I have LinkedIn and I have like 500 connections on LinkedIn. I don't know what to do with it. I just say hi to people and congratulate them on their work anniversaries.
Yeah, that's engagement, So
yeah,
that's a start.
And see, you just educated me there. I don't even know what I'm doing. I just say hello, and say how you doing. So my question is, at this stage, with Mark's assistance, I've been building a database of clients that I've had over the past 5 years.
Wow.
So what is the next logical step? Should I now just kind of like spend the rest of my day-to-day linking Facebook to Instagram and then reaching out to my old clients? Or like what is the next? Because I got all these different areas, you know what I'm saying? And I want to make it cohesive.
I mean, I think that makes sense. I think if you have a list of like 5 years of contacts, I mean, I don't think you even need that much of a social media strategy. I would directly outreach to those individuals. as far as growing your brand on Instagram and what you're already doing, like you said, you've already gotten, traction. You've gotten some, contract with it. I used to follow this guy that did plumbing on Instagram, and you do remodeling. So what you can do is that while you're at work, I mean, you're gonna be there anyways. Take out your phone, take a few pictures, just post it up on your Instagram, link that to your Facebook, and then see the engagement, and then from there you can kind of dictate what you want to do. Like if you're getting a lot of engagement, or if you're already getting work, just being, doing what you're already doing, then just keep doing that, and just keep building keep building what you're doing on Instagram. The very similar way I was saying. And because now you're working on not just getting old clients, but how about acquiring new clients? So to the point where you don't really have to market yourself in a manner, because all that content's already up there. It's always going to be up there. They can always go back and look at it. Your older clients and your newer clients can go look at it. And check out my Instagram page, check out my Facebook. The work that I've done, it's all on there. It's your own little portfolio.
Yeah, I asked that because one of the things, and I wanted to know if this was a viable strategy before I start exploiting my children. But one of the things that I did, and a lot of stuff that I do, see, Mark is very logical in his approach to things. Mm-hmm. I just go off instinct, mm-hmm. And if it work, it work. If it don't, I try something else. Mm-hmm. But I had my daughter with a little hard hat and some gloves, and she was walking through a project with me, pinpointing things that needed to be done. Okay. And I kind of hashtagged it general contractor in training. Yeah. And so I don't know, is that overdoing it though? Or should I just be directly talking to people, or is that like overkill?
I think every once in a while, it's really cool to do that, to really incorporate your, your close ones, your loved ones into what you're doing. I would say if it gets good engagement, every once in a while do it, but most of it is really focused more on you.
Okay.
Yep. Like every once in a while, like what we were talking about Facebook earlier. Like we like baby pictures. We like seeing faces. We like that, hey, you're a human being as well too on the other side of that screen. Like, right. Yeah, sometimes my daughter do go and like, help, I wouldn't say like help, but like she hangs out with me while I'm doing my work, so
right.
People like that.
Makes her work, poor child.
Oh, she works, but not like that though.
Yeah,
For the record, not like that.
But yeah, no, those are really cool. It gives people insight into your life as well too. It's just a personal preference. Some people don't like sharing a lot about their lives. Like every once in a while, I'll post like a picture of my daughter, but it's not something that I do all the time. Only when
right.
Like it's for me, I really try to focus more on like just the business aspect of everything, even though it is a social platform. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it, as long as, it's still centered around your business and around you. If you're building your brand and your business at the same time.
Gotcha. So then the next, and I'm sorry, y'all, I just want to make sure I understand. I like to repeat things because, like I said, I'm not as smart as everybody else here, so I got to repeat stuff. No, but so the next logical step, very funny. But the next, because I'm very linear in my thinking on certain things. So the next logical step then is to, number one, link to Facebook. Mm-hmm. Number two, finish compiling that database and target them first, and then kind of broaden from there.
I'm gonna step you back for one moment.
Why you gotta step me back?
Because you're about to step in it, and it's the wrong step. Your email address. Your email list is separate than your social media list. Your email list is the holy grail. So those are two different things. And so the ultimate goal of your social media contacts actually is to get the email address.
Gotcha.
You don't know if one day you're going to end up in Facebook prison. I'm sure you've heard of that, right?
No, I haven't. What is that?
Facebook prison is when Facebook says, oh, this guy's posting stuff that we don't like, we don't agree with, they can just shut you down.
Okay.
Right now, right? And so social media can restrict you. But once you get the email address, that's like having cash. So you have that group. Don't worry about reaching out to them. That's easy.
I see what you're saying.
to do that, to focus on getting those email addresses. That's a whole separate game. So yeah, get your LinkedIn and your Facebook, Instagram connection going, but then move on to more important things.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, y'all.
Uh,
Appreciate it.
We're at like the hour mark, right at the hour mark. So we got one time, I guess, for one more question. Andy
How do we
Joe.
find Joseph?
Yes, sir.
Hold on the timeout. Sorry, Bruce. 1 second, because
No problem.
Andy has patiently had her hand up for like 10 minutes.
Not a
So
problem.
please.
Hi, thanks. I just want to make a comment about Hootsuite. Go back to that. There is a free, if you go to the homepage on Hootsuite, you go all the way down to the bottom. There is a free version and allows you to have three social media things on it, and it's forever free. And like what people have been saying, I used to, when I had more time on my hands, I would schedule posts, but then also throughout the week, I would go ahead and do one of those, things like what Mark was saying about, hey, look at that touchdown, that was great, some interactive things. I think that's really all I had to say. At least that's all that I remember that I had to say. So thank you.
Thank you. That's a nice tip regarding Hootsuite.
Mm-hmm.
Anything free is me.
Agreed. And I didn't know that they were allowing up to three accounts on Hootsuite. So that's something to look into for sure, even for us. So thank you for that as well.
Hey guys, we are at the 2:00 hour, so we try to keep it within that time frame. I just want to tell everybody thanks. If you found this valuable, we'll try to do more trainings. And Joe's a pretty good guy. He might even come back and give us a little bit more education if we had those questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Joe, you wrap it up. You can close this down
Well,
today.
before we call it, I know that Bruce had a question before we.
I just wanted to know how to find you, Joe.
Just Joseph Mugen, JOSEPH Mugen, MUGEN. That's basically my my go-to. Like my real name, like I said, is Joseph Herr, but like as a brand, as a personal brand, I'm Joseph Mugen.
Online, that's how just Joseph MUGAN Mugen.
Yeah, MUGEN.
Ian.
And yeah, like all my, even like as what Alicia was talking about, I have the, you buy your URL, you do all of that. All of that is gonna the long strategy. That's what it's there for. So.
I was thinking when we were going along, do you agree or disagree that it should be keeping it simple? You want the consumer, you want to grab them, but you want the consumer to reach out to you and have a one-on-one conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to leave some room. Gee, I want to talk to this guy. This is I have a question, and go from there. Grow from there as well.
Yeah. You basically leave them wanting more, if anything, because you can't cover everything. If we could cover everything in one session, or or as far as being an expert or being someone well versed in your niche or your area. It's you do need that one-on-one time, and even with the hour that we've had, I mean, we've barely scratched the surface. Although we mentioned 4 or 5 different social media platforms, but each of those social media platforms have their own specialties. So.
I know we're wrapping up. I'm in the real estate business.
Okay.
So, as you know, marketing is probably the most important tool that we use.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I personally don't use it very much. That's another story. But I have agents, people who need help.
Okay.
So that's why I'll reach out to you, or I'll give some folks your contact information.
Okay. Yeah, that's
fine
with me.
I'm sorry I took so much time.
No, do not worry about it.
The chief over there wants to finish up. Where'd he go? There he is.
All right, and all right, us Indians, we're gonna end it all right here. Thank you so much. And like I said, we might do it again if Joe is willing to give us a little bit more time. And if you have any other questions, like you can hit us with email and I'll forward it on to Joe, or we'll get you his information as well. All right. Thank you guys.
All right,
Have
cool.
a great
you.
weekend.
Thanks, everyone.